Now we are equally and very happy to welcome Boaventura de Sousa Santos, an eminent figure in many fields. He's an Emeritus Professor of Sociology at the University of Coimbra in Portugal and distinguished legal scholar at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Also an alumni of Yale University and other universities. He's also a member of the International Council of the World Social Forum. He represents, as far as I understand it, one of the wings. There are conflicting or different diversity of opinions within all of the forums, and I think this is a healthy thing. I think that I hope that your contribution to this panel will also explain how you stand not only to the history and the anniversary of the 20th anniversary of the World Social Forum, but also how it has evolved and where the different strands are going in our time and day. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here with you and to talk about the 20th anniversary of the World Social Forum. In fact, we are holding, as this is now a good sign, holding a virtual session. And the initial march was really very impressive, with people from all over the place contributing with videos to the festivity of being together virtually. So we can see that 20 years after, the World Social Forum still has a great potential. The problem is that whether you can fulfill the hopes of people in the World Social Forum once our sessions are over. And the problem is that this potential has not been fulfilled. I think if you talk to the younger generation of people, and people in the 20s or something, they don't even know what the World Social Forum is. It was an excitement 2 years ago, but not anymore. So what happened? It so happens that many people, in fact, that were very enthusiastic at the beginning of the World Social Forum just left. They start leaving very early on 2006. And then many others continue to go, and a couple of people stayed. I'm one of those that stayed, but in fact, always trying to renew the World Social Forum, because you could see that the World Social Forum was losing steam. Why? For two reasons. The first reason is that there was an ambiguity in the beginning, at the beginning of the World Social Forum, and we're not aware of that very clearly at the time. The ambiguity was whether the World Social Forum was an opposition, a frontal opposition to the World Economic Forum, or if it was just the social responsibility branch, the appeasing of the bad conscience of the World Economic Forum. So there were those of us that were against capitalism, but others were against neoliberalism. And at the time we thought that was just two ways of formulating the same problem, but it was not. In fact, the people that were claiming, and they still are claiming, against neoliberalism are really capitalists. They don't want to change our society as we know it. Of course, they would like to have more social justice, but within the capitalist confines. And this is the ambiguity. So the first structural difficulty is that we have in the World Social Forum people that think that the Social Forum is anti-capitalist, anti-colonialist, anti-racist, and anti-sexist. And there are those that want to play with the system and try to get the best they can from the system. Particularly, we are divided between the big NGOs that get their funding from the states, they don't want to confront the states, and the grassroots movement that are more radical in the outfit. So the second reason for the paralysis, so to say, on the relevance of the World Social Forum, nobody knows what is the position of the World Social Forum on this or that. It is unknown, because there is none, in fact. Why? Because we adopt a consensus rule. For us, of course, consensus didn't ever mean unanimity. You cannot be unanimous with so many. Consensus meant that we would try to discuss our differences and we would come to a consensual point, but accommodate differences, but a consensus, not be unanimous about everything. So what we saw was that where the passing of the years is a perversion because the consensus rule is now the veto power of one person or two persons in the International Council. And we came to know that the idea of a consensus was thought by these people to prevent us from coming up with agendas that they don't like. For instance, we may have in the International Council 90% or 99% of the people against the colonial occupation of Palestine by Israel. But there is one member of the International Council that say, no, we can say anything against Israel. Well, we are paralyzed, no action. In 2016, we wanted to pass a declaration against the impeachment of the legitimate democratic President Dilma Rousseff of Brazil. It was not possible because one people or two people opposed to that. So this is the problem. And now we are in the process. I belong to one of the groups that are trying to renew the World Social Forum. It is not to create something, it's to renew the World Social Forum. And there are resistance. There are two types of people that want us not to change anything. Some are what we call the Talmudists, the people that conservatives from the very beginning, they think that they are the owners of the World Social Forum and they have their agendas. For instance, we can't say anything, no declaration in favor of the reproductive rights of the women because Caritas International is very strong and they don't like the legalization of abortion or the productive rights of women. So we are paralyzed because of that, even though there is more than 85% of the members in favor of productive rights. So this is the dilemma. We are caught in this. But there are another kind of people that don't want us to change. Why? Because they want to be the ones that are going to create and to promote global action. Because we want, my group wants that the World Social Forum becomes also a global political actor. They don't want that. I'm talking about, for instance, the Progressive International. We were together yesterday with Yanis Varoufakis. I know him very well. He was here in Coimbra and so on. But Yanis now has its own organization, Progressive International. So he told us, no, the World Social Forum stay as it is. You are an open space and you do the actions, the global actions. Well, I object to that. I don't think that, with all respect for Yanis, that the Progressive International has some standing, global standing, still today as the World Social Forum. So I think that we should struggle for that. In order to do that, we need two things. And these two things are the following. The first one, we have to have a strategic thinking. Because nobody thinks, in fact, about the world in which we are. We are in the midst of pandemic. We are with a concentration of wealth and ecological crisis. Something should be done about that. Well, I mean, in the name of the World Social Forum, we don't have strategic thinking because nobody's ready to distinguish between important struggles and urgent struggles. For instance, I saw many movements, some of the organizations that are very strong in the World Social Forum from Brazil, very active in the anti-nuclear movement. I'm, of course, in favor of anti-nuclear movement, of course. But there is an urgent struggle, is to save Brazilian democracy because a fascist is in power, genocide is in power. So they should oppose, they should come to the streets. They don't. So they don't distinguish between important and urgent struggles. And many other things we could, and that's our idea, that we should have some strategic thinking. And secondly, we should have a deliberation process. We are calling for a change in the World Social Forum so that in 2022, when we meet presentially in Mexico, so we hope, we'll have a two-part World Social Forum. The first 2 days, we will be discussing all the issues. And in the last 2 days, we'll have an assembly, a deliberative assembly of people to decide the new rules for the World Social Forum. And these rules would allow us to deliberate which global actions are we going to take up that we are going to promote in the name of the World Social Forum, so that when people want to know, but what does the World Social Forum think about the feminist rights, about the disarmament, about the pandemic, we should have some way of saying that the World Social Forum is a global force. Now, in order to do that, there are many ways. We can vote. We are asking for, we are even asking for qualified decisions, but of course there could be a minority decision, a majority decision. There are many ways in which we can say this, and therefore I think that if we do this, it is possible to solve the problems that you have, but for that we have to create a stream of movement, and I appeal to you to be with us in all the, for instance, we are going to have tomorrow another panel on the future of the World Social Forum. Please come, because we'll be there discussing, well, not just 6 people, but many people, that some of people that abandoned the World Social Forum and now are coming back to discuss with us why they left and what they think should be done. So we are here with a hope, because I think that the World Social Forum is a beacon of hope. But I think that if we don't do anything, we'll fail. And if we fail, the future of the World Social Forum is that it won't have any future. And we would like to come envisage that solution. So that's why I commit you to this debate on the future of the World Social Forum with renewal that allow us to move into the 21st century. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Boaventura de Sousa Santos, for this kind of strong introductions with many relevant points.